Hello and welcome to this week's live stream. Today we are going to be talking about tips for getting started with Lifewave patches. Specifically, I am talking about the X39 patch. This is the patch that I usually start just about everybody on. It's probably Lifewave's most popular patch, and it is the patch that does the most. By the way, if I'm not smiling as much as I usually am this week, everybody, I did have dental surgery and today is only day 3. So I feel like I'm a little bit less expressive, but I still wanted to come on as I always try to make it for my live stream. My name is Megan Graham. I am a Lifewave independent distributor and I am a super fan of Lifewave. The story of how I started using these patches is that this past year, I had a really bad toxic exposure. I was extremely sick and nothing was helping. I just was not feeling better. And a friend of mine told me about these patches. 2 other people had also tried to tell me about the patches, and I was not really open to trying them. I just didn't think that it could possibly work. But when this trusted friend told me about the patches, I decided to finally try them. And I could not stop talking about them after I tried them because they made such a significant difference in my life. So I started using them, sharing them, and loving them. And that is the story of how I started using them. They have made a significant difference in my energy levels, my sleep, my healing, just so many things. Inflammation. It has been a really great change in my body. And of course, the thing that I always like to point out is that my patches are certainly not the only thing that I do for my body. I take care of it in any way, shape, and form that I can, which is exactly why I just had dental surgery, and I'm glad it's over. So if you feel like jumping into the comments, please feel free. Always feel free to ask questions. And as always, this is not medical advice, but just some tips from my experience of using the patches and helping hundreds of people to start them. I always come on here on my YouTube because, of course, I do personally help my clients and customers, but I can't personally help everyone. So I always come on here every week with little tips, and I hope that it makes using your Lifewave patches more successful and you just get more out of your life and you feel better, because there is nothing fun about feeling terrible all the time. So here are some of my tips for getting started with Lifewave patches. The first one is when you get those patches, take a picture. I know obviously we can't take a picture of the insides of our body. We can't take a picture of how we actually feel, but you can take a picture of your skin. I'm 48 years old, and when I started using the patches, I took a picture I think it was the first day, and then a month later, I was so surprised to see that my skin was already looking different. My eyes were less bloodshot. You could see my hyperpigmentation was faded, and obviously that's just external, but I wasn't doing anything else to make that happen. So it was really neat to see the difference. So that is a really important thing. Take a picture and also make some notes about how you're feeling. Number 2, and this is super, super important, you must stay hydrated. So the thing that I do to stay hydrated is I always have my Stanley cup with me. It's always filled with filtered water and electrolytes, and I drink at least 2 of these per day. Hydration is so important for when you're using these patches. If you are dehydrated, and not even just for the patches, anything that you do in your life, please stay hydrated. You're going to feel so much better. And I see a comment here. It says, hello from, I think that's Montana, got home early and able to catch my live. Thank you so much for joining, and thanks for saying hi in the comments. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you're on and you don't mind hitting the thumbs up symbol, that would be great. It makes such a big difference for my YouTube, and I really appreciate your support. Also, if you are looking for any links to purchase products, I always put them in my description. So feel free to look in my description. And if you're a new customer, you can also email me and I can set up a consultation so I can help you choose exactly what you need. If you're working with another brand partner, of course, work with that person instead. But if you are not working with anyone and you'd like the patches and you'd like me as your brand partner, please feel free to email me. So number 3, and it probably sounds so simple, but almost always start with the X39. Keep it simple. Don't add tons of patches at the same time. The X39 to me is the most important patch out of all of the Lifewave patches. And what a lot of people find is that when they use the X39, they may not need a lot of the other patches. I'm not saying that all of the patches are not valuable. Trust me, I have several patches on today. It's not just the X39. But you never know. We might be able to keep it simple. So I would always recommend starting with the X39, keeping it simple, not trying to wear 5 patches out of the gate. It is too much for your body. So please start slow. And if you have inflammation, or if you have really, here's the way I look at it. If you're doing great and you just would like your quality of life to be a little bit better, you would like your overall wellness to be a little bit better, just do the X39. If you have any issues, and it doesn't matter what it is, if you're not feeling your best, that's all I need to know. It doesn't matter what it is. I would add the Eon patch as well. So if you're not feeling your best when you start the patches, this is your combination, Eon and X39. Favorite combination. If you're not feeling well, I wouldn't skip the Eon. I think it's really important to use these together and you'll have better results. If you have any questions, please feel free to jump into the comments. I always love to hear from you guys, even if you want to tell me where you're watching from, which patches you're wearing. If you've started wearing the patches, jump into the comments and let me know. I really love to hear from everybody in the comments. So wait a month before adding additional patches. If this is really something that I always tell, I love to do consultations and I love to get people on board and just let them know that it is great to take it slow and maybe don't ask your body to do too much at the same time. I know that we all get so excited about making changes and we start a new thing and we just, the patches are amazing and they do so much and I get it. I have all of them, but it's really just to put on this X39 is doing so much for your body. So consider that this could be the maximum that you really need to start with and truly just give your body a little bit of a chance to get used to that. You will thank me for it. If you overwhelm your body with lots of patches at the same time, you actually might not feel as wonderful at the start. So something that might feel great to you later might not actually feel good if you do it all at once. Hello, Karen. Thank you so much for joining. Karen says X39 and carnosine. X39 and carnosine are actually 2 of my very favorite patches, although I have so many favorites. And interestingly enough, Karen, so my doctor, my biotoxin doctor, who's a very smart woman, she is Harvard trained. She went to Johns Hopkins, her 2 favorite patches, which she wears patches as well. She wears X39 and carnosine, and she loves those patches. So I feel like carnosine is an unsung hero. People do not always know how special of a patch it is. So you've been wearing it for 2 months. And X39. That's a really great combination and also a great combination to start with. I definitely have started folks with that combination before for some specific support and things like that. Now, this probably sounds really basic, but I'm going to still say this because I get this question all the time. So 12 hours maximum on your body, and always at least 12 hours off your body. I have heard from some people that they're wearing their patches for 24 hours in a row. Please don't wear your patches for 24 hours in a row. There is no need to do so. In fact, I start many of my clients by wearing the patches for about 6 hours instead of 12 hours. And again, I know everybody's in a rush and everyone wants to have all these changes right away, but my general feeling is that most things that we do in life are going to be more comfortable for our physical bodies when we roll out the changes slowly. So for most of my clients, I'm starting them out with a shorter amount of time with the patch, gradually ramping up as they make progress and they feel terrific with it. It works so well. Shelly, hello. Thank you so much for saying hi. She says hello from Nebraska. I was in Nebraska one time when my husband and I were traveling by RV. It was such an interesting place to be. So much farmland. It was amazing. Thank you for joining me, Shelly. Are you wearing the patches now, Shelly? And if so, which patches are you wearing? What are your favorite ones? I would love to hear. So here's another, this is pretty basic, but another thing people ask me many times is, where do I put the X39? And truthfully, you can put the X39 anywhere that you want. So in the directions, you're going to see that they show two places. One is about 2 to 3 inches below your belly button, and the other is right behind your neck, where you feel that first kind of like bump if you lean over. But here's the thing. I often tell people when I am starting them out on the patches, why don't you put this where you feel like your body needs it the most? So wherever that is, wherever you feel like you wish, and I am not guaranteeing any changes for your body, but for instance, over the last few months, I was actually still having some stomach issues, which, as it turns out, they were tied to different things. But so my stomach was often the place of choice for my X39. So I like to say, where there's a need, put the X39. You can put it anywhere you want. It is going to work anywhere that you put it on your body. Because I just had, so if anybody's wondering, the dental surgery that I had a root canal done when I was 26 or 27 years old. I'm 48 now. It wasn't showing up when I went to the dentist, but I kept having some chronic infections. So I finally went and got a special scan for my tooth. And as it turns out, my root canal was infected. So it is right here. I had the tooth extracted the other day. I was so lucky because it was the tooth that was all the way in the back. What a blessing. And so for most of the day, although not right now because I'm doing my YouTube, I've been wearing a patch directly right where I had the surgery. And I actually only had to take, I didn't even really have to take them. I took 2 of the Tylenol that I was given when I left a few days ago, but I didn't really have to take much. As soon as I put my X39 on, I personally felt some relief. I am a very quick responder to these patches. And so that's where I've been wearing mine. And Shelly says, 39 and Eon. Oh my gosh, that is the perfect combination. I love that combination. I feel like, to be totally honest, I think everybody would benefit from this combination in the beginning. This makes such a big difference as well with our stress levels. This patch was actually created because Suzanne Summers requested that it be made, because she spoke about the fact that inflammation and stress are just such drivers of all kinds of disease. And so that's why this patch was created. But when I wear this patch, I just have such a different feeling. I feel so much better overall. I wore it actually the other day when I went to get my dental surgery. I am one of those people that is scared out of their mind when, especially to get a tooth pulled. I was just frightened as can be. So I had my Eon patch behind my right ear, and it made a huge difference. So that is a great combination. So basically you can wear your patch anywhere, you guys. And something else to know is you can shower with your patch. You can go in water with your patch. A lot of people ask me this on YouTube. And so I just wanted to tell you that if the easiest thing for you is to just go ahead and open up your 39 in the morning, you're making your coffee and you just put it on right then, that's fine. You can take your shower. You can wear it afterwards. It is fine. It's not going to ruin your patch to wear your patch while you are showering. So also feel free to do that. No, it is just fine to do so. Blue Sky says, how many months do you wear the Eon along with the X39? I think it really depends on the person and what their goals are. So I can't really recommend, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I don't make blanket statements for different people for as long as you need it. And it depends what's going on with your body. I still have higher than normal levels of inflammation. So I am still wearing that patch to support my body and to help support healthy levels of inflammation. I also feel like I'm probably always going to have stress in my life. So I wear it whenever I feel like I need it, and that is most of the time. It truly just depends. It's really about paying attention to your own body and seeing which combination you feel better with. What I will say is that I look for patterns over weeks, not, oh, I didn't wear it for one day. How do I feel? No, I'm looking at, like say I were to take away the Eon, I would probably take it away, for 2 weeks and just kind of journal about how I was feeling that week and then decide how often I needed it. Most people these days have a lot of inflammation and a lot of stress. So I think the inflammation or the Eon is a great thing for people to be wearing, because let's face it, people are doing things to help with their stress. Whether they're taking pharmaceuticals, whether they're taking, or perhaps they're drinking to deal with their stress, whatever they're doing, people do different things to deal with their stress. And for me, and I'm not judging or anything like that. I'm just saying I know people have a lot of stress. So for me, this is a really healthy way for me to deal with my stress. And it just makes me feel better. I wouldn't say I'm a super stressed out person. I was really stressed out last week before I got my dental surgery, just like straight up stress. And I even brought, this is probably funny to most people, but I even brought this little guy with me because I was so nervous that I brought my teddy bear into surgery with me. And probably everybody thought it was a weirdo, but I don't even care because it made me feel better. 48 and I brought a teddy bear. It's fine. So here's another thing. This says if you have detoxing you need to do, start slowly. Now, how would anybody know that they needed to do some detoxing? For me, I was a hair colorist, so I was exposed to plenty of chemicals. I lived in a mold with black mold last summer, so I knew I needed to detox from that. There were things that I consciously needed to detox from. We all probably have things we need to detox from, whether we're aware of it or not. But for people that have had mold toxicity, for people that know that they need to detox, I usually just tell them that they might want to do something like me, and that is just to go slightly slower. There is, again, no rush to make your body do anything and everything at the same time. Blue skies, absolutely, it's my pleasure. And just so you know, blue skies, I have a whole, and for everyone out there, I have a patch drawer. I'm a Lifewave distributor. This is my blessing of a full-time job. I do this all the time. I help people feel better and enjoy their lives more for a living, which is awesome. And so I've got every single patch and I have them in my drawer and I just use what I need when I need it. So for instance, I didn't really want to take a lot of the Tylenol when I left my dental surgery and I just had a little bit of a dull ache. So I put a Icewave. First, I had my X39 right here, and then I layered an Icewave directly on top of it, and I moved the other. So there's two Icewave patches. I put the tan patch directly on top of my 39, and I moved the white Icewave patch until I didn't feel as much discomfort. So I use patches when I need them, and I don't use every patch every day. I use energy enhancer when I need a boost or when I need to increase circulation. And Daryl says, I think just being alive on this planet is just a good reason to detox. I couldn't agree more, and I'm not trying to be negative about the planet, but we are just exposed to more environmental things than we used to, whether it be electromagnetic radiation from cell phones, whether it is, Roundup or food additives and things like that. It's a pretty good idea to detox. And, people always say, well, our bodies detox naturally. They do, but they weren't really meant to be exposed to as much as we are exposed to every day. Things are very different. For instance, in the year 2024 than in 1980, when I was a little girl, we did not have as many chemicals. There wasn't as much that we needed to detoxify from. And as we all know, there's a lot more in our food, in our water, and in our air. So I agree, Daryl. We all could probably use a little extra help in detoxification these days, which is one of the things that I feel has been so much better for me with wearing my patches. Number 8 is be consistent and use it every day. I cannot even tell you how many people will say, oh, I have the patches, but I haven't been using them. Here's a update. They're not going to work for you at all if you're not wearing them. So they have to be on your body. I highly suggest leaving them somewhere where you're going to see them and you're going to get in the habit of putting them on every day. We leave ours out in front of our coffee machine so that every morning when we turn on our coffee, my husband and I just put our patches on. We start our day, we get it off on the right foot. And then I have a nighttime routine where before I wash my face, I take off all my patches and I put on anything that I'm planning on wearing for the nighttime. So, and again, you don't have to wear a ton of patches. So guys, if you don't know, I was so sick that I was bedbound about, I guess, 8 to 10 months ago, I could not get out of bed most of the time. So for me, I'm wearing a lot of patches, but I also have a lot of different things that I wanted to support my body from. So everybody does not have to wear a ton of patches. Keep it simple. If you don't need everything, you may be able to get by with just the X39 and the Eon, and maybe if there's some specific thing. If you'd like to be my client, feel free to jump into my email and I can help you figure out what may or may not be beneficial and supportive for your body personally. I also, this is a big one for me, guys. If you're starting out on the patches, give them time. There is a lot of hype on the internet where people, yes, I have plenty of clients and plenty of customers that will use them and say they can feel some things. For instance, my father-in-law, I'm so happy. My husband told him about the patches recently and he started using them, and he is a very fast responder. He's like, first of all, he had an open mind, which is wonderful. And he said, I feel more clear-headed, and he slept for 10 hours. He said he did not remember the last time that he slept for 10 hours, which is pretty incredible. He also said that his lower back pain was better, and he just noticed he had a little bit more energy. But here's the thing. Not everybody is going to feel the patches right away. And they might be doing something that you're completely unaware is actually changing. So if I'm working with a client or a customer, I always say, really, please give the patches at least 3 months. And think about it this way. If you're 70 or 80 years old, truly, I'd be giving it much longer than that too. I know that everybody wants to put it on and they'll say, oh my gosh, it's 2 weeks and I just don't feel that different. But I always think, do you not feel different, or do you just not see a change in the thing that you're hoping will change? Like for me, I'll be honest, I had a few infections that would not go away, and I was so frustrated. I feel like I was doing everything, but how do I say this? I had to take care of my tooth. My tooth was an issue. And although the patches helped me with so many things, that needed something else. It just needed something else. It needed a dentist. It needed, like, that tooth was not getting any better. So my example is, make sure that you're doing everything. So we're not just going to do one thing. We're looking at our body as a whole, taking care of everything, going to see our doctors, going to see our practitioners, doing what we need to do. And once we've done what we need to do, the patches are the cherry on top, and we're supporting all the good work that we've already done for our bodies and making it even better. And I believe that if you really want to see results with the patches as well, you want to know that whatever is happening with your body, it took you a while to feel the way that you feel now. So you also want to give it time to unravel, to feel better, to kind of get organized again, if you will. And so one thing that I have heard David Schmidt, who is the creator of the Lifewave patches, say is that you should plan to really see your results and see your benefits. Plan on 1 month for every year that you are old. So for instance, I'm 48, so that would be 5 months. Now, do I think that that means you have to stop after 5 months? No, I'm going to keep using the patches because, of course, I think there's benefits beyond that. And I want to also keep all the benefits that I've received while using the patches. But that said, just realize it's not a few days, it's not a few weeks. And even, for instance, people will often write me and they'll ask me to send them a sample. I just don't think that sending one sample of the patch is going to be enough for people to really realize the changes. It doesn't happen in a day. It would be amazing if everything could happen for you in one day, but truly it's not just going to happen in one day. Does anyone have any questions or comments about starting out with the Lifewave patches? I remember the day that mine arrived, and it was so exciting. I got the gold package. I signed up as a brand partner, and I remember just getting these patches, and I received them. I think the FedEx package came at about 6 at night. And I put the patch on. My husband and I were going for dinner. And I remember I just put the patch on for 3 hours, and I just wore it for 3 hours that day. And I am a highly sensitive person. And I did feel a little bit of a difference when I put that first patch on. But it's just such an exciting time when you get your patches. So if you're starting your patches, I just want to say I'm so excited for you. And I'm so proud of you if you actually had an open mind and you started the patches, because when I first heard about them, I did not have an open mind. I didn't think they could possibly be real. And I just so cynical about it. And I am so incredibly grateful that one of my friends took the time. She told me repeatedly about them. And I said, but I have so many supplements and I've done so many things and it's so expensive. And it wasn't even that I thought the patches were expensive. It was just that everything that I had done was expensive. And she just said they're different. And I think they're going to make you feel different. And so I did buy them, and they did really make such a big difference. So I'm excited if you're starting. Hello, LA Foster. It's so nice to see you. It says it took until a month ago to be able to tell the Eon patch was working. I love that you can tell the difference though, LA. So LA is one of my awesome customers, and she's been on my YouTube for a while. And I think you've had them, you started out slowly, you've been going a little bit more slowly, but as she said, she was using them for a while until she could feel the difference. So I think it's really one thing that I try to do is just to instill realistic expectations with people, because although this is, to me, one of the most amazing products I've ever used, it takes a while. It really does. Even though it starts to work right away, there are little changes that can be happening, and you may not notice what they are immediately, but they will for sure happen. Does anyone have any questions about getting started, about patching or anything like that? The other thing, some people have asked me if you can cut them in half. No, please do not cut the patches in half. They're not intended for you to do that. I will say I do, after I take my patch off of my body, at least at the very beginning, when I would take my X39 off, I usually took it off and I taped it to one of my dog's collars, and my husband did the same thing. I will say that now we actually just take, in the morning, about 5 days a week, we open up a fresh X39 and we put it on our dogs. And I know a lot of people would say, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. But we love our dogs. And if anybody doesn't know, I didn't meet my husband until I was 38. I didn't have kids of my own. And so my dogs are like my children. Sorry, they really are. I know that makes people upset sometimes, but I love them so much. So I support their bodies as best as I can, because they've had their fair share of health problems as well. And LA says, I did start out slowly. I am able to detox more heavily now. What a bonus. That is incredible. And I'm so glad that you started them, LA. I feel like truly, out of all of the modalities that I've done, this has been such an incredible modality to support my body. And I'm glad that you did it, because I think it makes such a big difference. It says, I can't remember if I asked this already. My understanding is that the X39 increases stem cell production. Would you recommend increased protein intakes to support that production? So I can't really make personal recommendations. I think it would be sort of just guessing for me to tell anybody what they need. I'm not a practitioner. I do try to get a lot of protein myself. So it just depends. Sorry, I just keep talking about this darn dental surgery, but I did just get my dental surgery, and I did have to get a bone graft as well. And so my doctor gave me special protein so that I would have plenty of protein so that my body could rebuild my bone again. Sure. I mean, I don't think that it's easy for how do I say it, for your body to rebuild certain parts of itself if it doesn't have enough protein. So in my case, yes, I would definitely do that. If you think you need more protein, that's definitely up to you. But I think protein, high quality protein, is so important, and many people are not getting enough. Ellie Foster asked, how does the X49 affect you? So for me personally, I have found that my athletic performance is higher with the X49 LA. I'm definitely able to put muscle on a lot more easily. There were a lot of years, if you guys don't know, I was actually in the bodybuilding world, but not body. Everybody thinks bodybuilding and they think, oh my gosh, you're going to be huge with muscles. No, in competitive fitness and things like that. And I had a lot of trouble putting on muscle for a long time. And I wasn't looking to put on a ton of muscle, but it just seemed like no matter what I did, I was having trouble getting stronger and putting on muscle. And when I started wearing the X39, it seemed to be much easier to put on muscle. To me, I feel also, you guys may or may not have seen my transformation, but when I started with these patches, I had a bald spot right here and a matching one right here. And they were about the size of a quarter. There was a tiny bit of hair, but for the most part, it was mostly bald. And I feel that it seemed to me that when I was wearing that patch, my hair thickened up quite a bit. It wasn't overnight, so I wouldn't have been, looking and being like, oh, I wore this patch for 7 days and, nothing has changed. But definitely more stamina, more strength, more lean muscle. It's, for me, those have been some really good things. Of course, I've worked to put on muscle too, but that is how I have felt the changes in my life. Does anybody else have any other questions or anything like that? And again, if you are looking for a brand partner, please go into my description in this video. I always have my links. So if you don't want to talk to me personally, feel free to also order through my links. And if you would like to join my team as a brand partner, I also am more than happy to talk to you about that. LA says at 61 years old, do you think the X39 will be good support for just getting into good fitness and mobility? I definitely do. So I think that's the thing. It's like, to me, it doesn't matter your age. I think we still need similar things. And actually, LA, it has really some other good benefits. I always have to be careful about which benefits I actually discuss online because we're not really allowed to make claims, but there's some other stuff. I can send you a really cool video on it, LA, and it will explain some of the other findings with the patch that are super, super cool. I always keep it very, very conservative for my YouTube about what I talk about with the patches. But yeah, it has some really good benefits, especially at 61 years old. I have my mom on that patch. She just turned 80, and I did it specifically for some benefits that she needed. I don't know about that. And we're not really, like, at least me as a brand partner, even though, yes, I do know that that is one of the benefits. I can't really discuss those benefits because I'm not supposed to. But how do I say it? I mean, who knows? I will say I think the patches are great, but I still had to have dental surgery, Daryl. So I try to be very, very realistic. I mean, who knows? But that's not something that I was expecting at all with the patches. I think my tooth was a little bit too far gone anyway, but I'm not sure that the patches would necessarily do that. It would be great if they did, but honestly, I just don't know. You can always just see and pay close attention to it and see if that happens. That's right, Daryl. Daryl said root canal kills it. And yes, and I didn't know that. I mean, honestly, I got a root canal when I was probably about 27. My little brother had passed away about a year before, and I did not take great care of my teeth after. And I got a root canal because I was very sad and I was dealing with that. And I didn't know that a root canal basically kills the tooth. So, hey, it happened, but I'm totally blessed that it was in the back tooth. And I'm so glad that that tooth is out. Interesting thing, I've been having body aches lately, and I had some nausea, and I got the tooth pulled and my body aches are gone and my nausea is gone. So it was a really interesting thing. And I didn't know it was that. And my doctor said, we've done so many other things. You need to get it's called a cone beam scan. And it's a 3D scan where this really intense scanner goes around your head and it can pick up on any basically invisible infections. I'm sure I'm not saying it correctly. And I was so afraid to see the results. And sure enough, it was a stealth infection that was making me, on top of everything else that's happened, it was just making me plateau with my healing. So I'm glad to get it out. Yes, they did ozone after they removed the tooth, and they did such a beautiful job. If anybody is in the Scottsdale, Arizona, or the Phoenix, Arizona area, or if you're close enough to fly and you know you need beautiful dental work, I went to a dentist. Her name is Dr. Iniko Loud, and her dental practice is called Whole Health Dentistry. And oh my gosh, you guys, they did such a beautiful job. The most caring people, so attentive. And I feel like it was a life-changing experience. So I'm really, really happy about it. It was incredible. And yes, ozone is amazing. Does anybody else have any questions for me? Tonight is actually my husband's birthday, so we are going to be going and celebrating. And if you guys don't know, I have, you probably haven't seen my husband too much, but he is one of the most amazing men in the entire world, and he always takes such great care of me. He drove me to my dentist appointment. I was so nervous I wouldn't even walk in by myself. And then, of course, he drove me for my surgery, took care of me after. So I married a gem of a man. And tonight is my night to celebrate him and the fact that such a fine man ever came into my life. So very happy to celebrate my Jeffy. Just love him so much. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the birthday wishes for my husband. He's a one of a kind guy. And I am just, gosh, I'm so blessed to have him. So, and as I am blessed to have all of you guys join me with your kindness, and I always love coming on here to have just all of this, just friendly chat and to be able to help people, whether you're my clients or not with the patches. I always love it when you join me for the live stream. I do have a live stream. I come on here live every single Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I just always chat about something that has to do with LifeWave. I love to talk about these patches. They're one of my very favorite things in the entire world. Anybody else have any more questions about getting started with your LifeWave patches, or just any questions about your patches in general? Just wanted to see. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. I'm going to show this to Jeff after. He's going to love it. Poor Jeff, I always make him leave during my YouTube just so it's nice and quiet, because we are in a not a very large apartment. So I always try to make it quiet and relaxing, but I will tell him when he gets back, I'm taking him to a nice steak dinner. I will not be having steak since I just got my oral surgery. I will be having lobster bisque soup, or I looked and they have 3 kinds of soup. So soup and no alcohol for this girl, because I am still healing. And oh, happy belated birthday, Shelly. It was last Wednesday. That's so nice. Happy birthday. I love birthdays so much. Well, everybody, it was so nice to talk to you. And I just want to say, if you are starting out your patches, I hope you have a wonderful experience starting. Talk to your brand partner. If you need help, always reach out to the person that signed you up. Ask them for that personal assistance. Watch all the David Schmidt videos that you can watch, and always come on here. We have a great LifeWave community. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. And if you are patching, please keep patching, and never lose hope that you will get all of your health back. And do all the things, of course, do the patches. They're incredible. Take care of your body, drink good water, eat good food, and believe good things, and believe that you can heal, and believe that you can be well, because where there is a will, I really think that there is a way. Stay healthy and stay beautiful. It was so good to see you guys, and I will see you very soon. Thank you again for joining me. Bye.